What's up everybody, Couchmells here, coming at you with a brand new Overwatch video, and in this video we're going to be talking about something that is a little tragic, but I think it's something that we have to talk about, and it's about the depressing state of Overwatch right now, and we're going to talk about some of the problems that is plaguing the game, what are some of the amazing things that Overwatch still has to offer, and everything to do with how Overwatch is in 2021 or going into 2022, but let's just jump right in. Now, the first thing that is really causing a huge downturn in Overwatch just on everything from Twitch to YouTube to player rate is just the lack of updates. It's really clear at this point that Blizzard is spending all their time on Overwatch 2 and we aren't going to get either that many patches at all. I mean, we get them very infrequently, but more importantly than that, we don't get any maps or any characters, and we're not going to until Overwatch 2, unfortunately. Now, in the current state of gaming, games need to be constantly updated with new content if they want to maintain an active player base, and unfortunately, with Blizzard just working primarily on Overwatch 2, that's not going to happen anytime soon. Now, we did briefly mention the fact that there is very little balance in the game. We get a balance patch very infrequently, and at this point, in my personal opinion, I would much rather have hero bans in ranked. While yes, it stifled creativity, not everyone loved it, people like to be able to pick whatever they wanted to. I think the fact that the meta was constantly changing added a freaking surprise factor as a way to artificially mix up the game, and then we had different compositions that were good all the time, and I for one really liked that. It made Overwatch feel fresh. Every time you would play the game, it would be slightly different, and right now it's just not that way, especially if they're not going to be adding different balances or changing up the meta on their end. They're doing something like that would at the very least make the game more exciting, but if you disagree, let me know in the comments down below, and if you want to support the channel, go to the GameLeap website or smash that like and subscribe. Now, the next thing, and I think the most important thing that is really depressing about the state of Overwatch right now, is the fact that there is no timeline. We have no idea when Overwatch 2 is definitively being dropped. There was speculation that it's going to be in February of 2022, but there's no confirmation, and between COVID and all the crazy stuff going on right now at Blizzard, it could be pushed back even further. So we have no idea when Overwatch 2 is coming out, and the fact that we have no timeline means that we just don't know what to look forward to. We see no new content, no end in sight, very little balance, and we don't know when Overwatch 2 is going to come and replace Overwatch. So the fact that there is no timeline, I think, really just makes us feel like there is no progression at all with the game, with the player base, and it's definitely pretty frustrating. Now, something that I've personally been struggling with on this channel, and a lot of content creators have, the few that are left because all of them are leaving, is that there's nothing new, nothing to teach. Education is stale because every single concept has been repeated and talked about and broken down, and there's very little more to learn. Anything that is being made is just a rehash of things that have been made, and there's not an active influx of new people that are interested in some old concepts being repackaged for the current meta. So really, all that is needed to know is already learned, and the people that are interested already know all the stuff that they need to know. It's basically just a really bad time for any sort of content creator, and that's why streaming and YouTube and creation is just on the all-time down low with Overwatch. Even this channel is operating at a net loss. All we're doing is basically waiting and trying to make the best content that we can before Overwatch 2 comes out, but it's definitely something pretty frustrating to say the least. Now, something that is really important about the state of Overwatch, and I think one of the big problems with the game right now, is that there is an increasingly competitive base leaving for other games. One, no one really cares about Overwatch League. The interest has dwindled, and there's a lot of reasons for that, leaving Twitch, the fact that there's not that many people that play the game or try to climb to the high level. There is no path to pro that exists at all, so even if you try to climb to Grandmaster or top 500 or try to make a name for yourself, going from being like a top 100 player to getting into the Overwatch League at this point, there's like a giant gap where there's no spots, and the dream, or the competitive dream, just doesn't seem like it exists anymore, like a bridge that is not fully built, and that can be incredibly frustrating because there's no route for someone who wants to achieve the Overwatch League, and you're not selling any dreams, and it's just very frustrating for a competitive base, and a lot of these people are leaving, and this leads me to the next point that I need to talk about. There are many games that either have a more competitive base that is just being supported by the company, or there are games that are similar to Overwatch in some way, but they get consistent updates. Look at how far Apex has gone. When it first started, that game was bare bones, didn't have a lot of content, and it got stale, but they slowly have been working on it, updating, improving, and now I think the game is better than it's ever been. Is Overwatch even close to the best it's ever been, not by a long shot. And that is definitely very frustrating because we can see how a game that was kind of mediocre at first became great under amazing leadership, but a game like Overwatch is just not getting there when it had the biggest of starts, the most amount of momentum. And you can imagine what Overwatch would have been like instead of like putting all this time into Overwatch 2. They just turned Overwatch into Overwatch 2 at a consistent rate, and then it just became Overwatch 2. There was no Overwatch official 2. It's just Overwatch, and it's been around for this entire time, just like League has been around since the dawn of time, just like CS has been around since the dawn of time. You don't need to just have an artificial sequel to make a whole bunch of money. That's a completely separate topic, but that's my personal opinion. Then we also have competitors like Valorant, which might not share a lot of the similarities as far as the movement and shooting and the style of game that Overwatch is, but if someone that is like 16, 17 really wants to become a pro player, like I said, the bridge is burned. There's no bridge to make it from a top tier player to become an Overwatch League player. It just feels very difficult and very luck based. When you think about a game like Valorant, where if you can consistently prove yourself, you have a much better shot, and that is really frustrating about Overwatch or the state of Overwatch, especially when we're talking about the competitive scene. And then last up, there's a lot of games on the horizon. Games like Halo that are just coming around just around the corner, where a lot of people that really like Overwatch would love a game like that. And it definitely is frustrating to not know, especially that timeline. When is Overwatch 2 coming out? How long do we have to wait? Is it going to just be competing with all these other games? Is it even going to be able to stack up? We have no idea what to expect. Definitely frustrating. I want to know if you share in my frustrations down below, or are you really optimistic? I really want to know your opinion about all that and why. And if there's a specific character that you've been struggling with and you want to master, we have very specified guides on the GameLeap website you really won't find anywhere on YouTube, so go check them out. But thank you so much for coming by. I hope you enjoyed this video. I love your faces, and I'll see y'all next time.